So what do when you got an amp that you take for repair and the amp comes back and it's been untouched? So they didn't even really look at it. They just gave it back to you the way you sent it. So what do? Well, I asked Phil McKnight, and here's what Phil McKnight said.
Oh, here's a good question. Guitar Hack says, hey, Phil, any ideas what would cause a volume fluctuations on a Marshall DSL combo? My experience usually with anything that's a tube amp is that if there's anything going wrong with volume swells. Somebody asked on an email, but I didn't have time to respond, which was, they said their class 5 amp, when they turn the volume to 0, there's still sound coming through. I'm going to say 9 times out of 10 it's the tubes. There's a tube in there. And if you're having an issue with volume fluctuations, it's definitely going to be a tube. That's my guess. But the sad part is this. Without formally diagnosing the amp, which is I'm not qualified to do, and I don't recommend you do unless you know what you're doing, the only thing I can tell you as a novice tube person is that changing the preamp tubes is the first smart idea to do to see if there's maybe a problem there.
Okay, so here's the culprit. Here's my amp. Picked it up yesterday, and they provided me with a nice paperwork that basically says to write on it that I've got volume fluctuation on the clean channel, and when I picked up the amp it was on the dirty channel the way I'd left it at the gig, and the reason I had it on the dirty channel was because that's the only channel that was working. Okay, did a little bit of research last night and found out that the clean channel works off of preamp number 1 in valve position 1. So I'm going to go pick up one of those valves and replace it. But what kills me is they said they checked the amp and it says clearly the clean channel, and they checked it on the dirt channel. And of course that dirt channel worked fine because the dirt channel uses the other preamp tubes. So I'm going to see how this goes. I'm going to get myself a 12AX preamp tube, pop it in, and hope for the best. See you soon. I picked myself up this is a tongue sole. I don't know a lot about tubes, but what I do know is that I've had good luck with these. In the past, I put a set of tongue soles in my Hughes & Kettner, and it's worked fine. And here's the back of the amp. So I'm going to take the screws off and see how easy it is to access the preamp tubes. Those 2 power tubes in there, by the way, I replaced also very recently. All right, be right back. The amp, and this is what I'm looking at. The big tubes, of course, those are the power tubes, and they're replaced those not too long ago. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, you can see it, 4 preamp tubes. Now, tube number 1 is the one that has the ring around it. It's the one nearest the input jack on the amp, and they designated with that little round grommet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that tube out, and I'm going to replace it with the tongue sole. Okay, let's see how it goes. I'm just using a rag to get a better grip, but what I do is I kind of rotate and pull at the same time until it comes. And there it is. Whoops, there it is. So yeah, you rotate and you pull at the same time. Now the only thing is, if you've never done this before, is make sure that, so you get a better view. Oops, not good. So you got a spot where there isn't any pins. You just got to make sure that you line this up. The new one that I'm going to put in, I got to make sure that it's lined up so that it goes in the right way, because these are all keyed. And if you're forcing it, all you're going to do is you're going to damage it. So anyway, so this is the old one, and visually looking at it, I don't know, it doesn't really look funky or burnt out, but we'll put a new one in and see if that fixes a problem. Okay, so I've wiggled the new one in. It looks like it's in there securely. So now I'm going to plug this in and see if I get those volume swells. So we'll check it out. So here comes the test. Plugged it in. Nothing blew up, which is always good. And got it a little bit loud here, so probably going to distort, but I just want to see how it sounds with the new tube and see if I got any volume changes. And here we go. Wish me luck. Well, looks like it's holding its volume, which is great. Mission accomplished. By the way, that little tongue sole cost me 26 bucks. Thanks, Canada. Cheers, everybody. Hope you have a great day.